So tell me about your libido. Do you find your libido has changed as you've grown older?
Yes, very, very much. There was a lot of questions about my libido during my 40s, especially at some point that I was in a union, in a relationship
Yeah.
where I was the wife and I had a husband, and at some point I questioned myself if it was gone.
Ooh.
And then once the relationship ended, I found myself again, and since then it's been a great journey of liberation.
Ooh.
And assuming the fact that I am a two-spirited person, and right now is in the LGBTQ flag, and I'm very happy with that because I always felt like I was a gay man. I've been a gay man trapped in a woman's body. Some people take it as a joke, but it's not really a joke. It's actually a feeling that I have, and it helped me understand my body better, my libido, my desires, and even when I'm, during time of sex, to really have a great time with myself and my partner.
Ooh.
But it's important to have a great time with myself. It's been, like I said, it's been a growing journey. I had good moments and I had funny moments where I had a partner, actually from Brazil, that wasn't so good because he was in fear. He was living in fear. I think he still does. And when sex was happening, even he let me explore his body, he wouldn't explore mine and let it happen.
Yeah.
In a very natural and like to free ourselves.
Yes.
And enjoy the most. And that was another growing moment for me, because with that I had to really pull myself, like really reaching to my body to have pleasure. But that can be a little bit tiring and draining.
Yes.
When you have someone that is not going with you. Right after that, that relationship was over. Right after, I met someone who is 20 years younger than me.
All right.
And then it was great because it was also liberating, and then I felt like I took a big step in my sexual life. And then now I'm not with that was just like a fling.
Yeah.
And now I'm with someone that I really enjoy being with, and he just goes with me.
Ooh.
In that moment of reaching to the top. I don't even think we're there yet, but it's been such a beautiful journey. It's been so great to be with someone that wants to be as free as I am.
Oof.
That wants to be free as well. Just wants to let go of the past. That wants
Yes.
to live the moment and get the best bliss as possible that day or that night or that morning. So yes, but I think I gotta give myself some credit, because it's something that I've been searching for at the same time that I'm searching for self-love. And I think if you love yourself, if you're searching for self-love, you searching for self-love with your body. I'm a former ballerina,
Yes. So it's physically as well as mentally.
Yes, I think mentally is very, very important, but the physic goes with the mental. I mean, I'm a ballerina. I say a former ballerina. I think I'm always going to be a ballerina. I'm always going to be a dancer. The body and the pleasure of the body for me is something really, really important. And my body gave me a career, places to go, a child, and many lovers and husbands. But I consider my body a temple. I've been saying that for a long time, but now I am in practice of really making this body a temple.
Oof. So what you're saying too is, as you're aging, you're exploring more. You're not giving it up.
No, I'm exploring more, and the results, it's being even more pleasurable than even like the idea of it. Because sometimes we have the idea of it, but we don't put in practice.
Yes.
You know? And yes, as I'm aging, I am finding other spots in my body that makes me get there. You know? And I'm clear what I like and what I don't like.
Yes.
I'm clear about the no's.
Yes.
And I'm clear about the yes, and saying yes to myself, you know.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you, I'm just going to go there. Masturbation is a big part of my life, so that takes a lot of self-exploration, and then with a partner.
Yes. Masturbation for me has been liberating as well. It was previous to this experience, and it helped me to get to where I am.
Yes.
To get to like, what do I really, really like? What do I really need? And how can I expel the guilt out of my body?
The guilt of your background.
The guilt of my background, the guilt of my ancestors, the guilt of religions, the guilt of pressure, the guilt of shame.
Yes.
All this. And masturbating is like, I am going to touch myself. I don't have to force the situation. I don't have to force the situation too.
Yes.
It's been a very natural journey. Honestly, I'm not the most masturbating lady. Like, I like to have a partner.
Yes.
But it's the moments that I had to touch myself, to search into myself, has been liberating. Liberating, like beautiful. But I think we women have to really understand that is to liberate yourself, not to put yourself in a place of solitude.
Yes.
Because you gotta learn how to have fun with yourself first before you have fun with the other.
Absolutely. Let's talk about shame. You were a dancer. You're a physical person, and yet, I mean, you're beautiful. So
Thank you.
I think of shame that has to do with body image. What did your shame come from?
You know, that's a great question, Mary Jane, because I don't know. I think my shame comes from ancestry. It comes from my ancestors. There was one time in acupuncture with Paulina that I had to stop the session with her. Well, actually, we didn't stop, and I had a prayer. It was right after this relationship just ended, because I was very angry. I still got a little bit of anger. It doesn't go away right away. But it was about letting go of pain, of guilt, of anger. And I think that goes with it. Do you say the shame? Where does the shame comes from? Because when I look back into my life, there is nothing to be ashamed of. You know what I mean? I was not ashamed to become a single mother and assume my child, and having a child with a man much younger than me. The shame would come from society. They would try to throw the shame on me. But I always fought that. I never really felt that the shame came from me. It came from surroundings. And I believe can come from certain part of my ancestry, our ancestry. And I'm not the only woman. But I think it's important to be connected to who came before you and what they passed to us. Sometimes we carry the guilt, shame from our great-great-grandmothers. We do. I believe in energy. I believe in legacies. And not all legacies are just, beautiful legacies. Sometimes you carry something from your great-grand aunt that you don't know. I believe in physics. I believe in quantum physics. I believe in strong ancestors' energy. So yes, I think the shame comes from ancestry to me, and that's one of the things that I hope at this lifetime I can clear a little bit of it.
A little bit of witchery.
Yes.
Or sorcery.
Exactly.
I love that. So, how do you deal with anger or injustice in your life? How do you deal with that emotion?
I've been learning how to deal with it every day. There is a lot of anger being a black woman in America, and I'm not talking America, United States, in the American continent.
Yes.
Either South or North America has been crazy since the moment I was born.
Yes.
You know, so to deal with anger, and there is some moments I assume the anger. There has been moments and years that, yes, I am an angry black woman. I'm very much in favor of people can curse you, and you take that in and transform into something else. I am angry black woman. Yes, I am angry. I got all the rights to be angry. You know what I mean? So I deal with anger. I embrace anger sometimes, most of the time. Because if I fight anger all the time, I'm never gonna be in peace. So I embrace anger. I have the right to be angry. I have the right to be angry as a woman in this world. I have the right to be angry seeing what they do to women across the oceans. For example, in Iran or Iraq, what was the
Iraq.
Iraq. I have the right to be angry. Most of the things that makes me angry is the injustice. Injustice is something that really triggers me. And I think the world has been in this path of injustice. Like injustice is being hunting us every day. You know, so yes, to deal, but also I don't believe in just talks and speak. I see a lot of people that consider themselves activists and they talk so much about it. They have beautiful speeches about it and they write about it. But the thing is, to me, what can we do to fight that? What can we do with the anger? What can we do with injustice? You know, I lived one of the biggest injustices in life. My mother was assassinated by feminicide, right? That's what they call feminicide, I think, in America. My mother was, you know, a victim. With her, I was a victim as well. I was her only child. And then, so I believe, like as a dancer, again, I like to make it happen with the body. I like to make it happen with my hands. So I believe injustice needs to be fought, not just with words, but also with actions. And anger also has to be embraced with actions as well. You know, actions get the anger, and I like transformation. Transform into something else. It's like, you know, like when you see the superhero movies, you get something and you throw back.
So when you talk about your body dealing with it, in what way? Do you mean getting rid of the energy, or do you mean
getting rid of the energy, doing things in your body that helps you get the anger out? Even it's just breathing, even it's just sitting and stopping and breathing, even it's just getting something to hit, not a person, not an animal, but like something that you can just do to get out of your system.
Yes.
Or something that you can do to get out of your system physically. I think writing is physically. I've done it. As I talked to you earlier, I wrote an essay about ageism. That was physical.
Yes.
I could have spoke, talked to my sisters and my best friends and cry and get angry, and cry and talk to them and not do anything about it, really. But I went, got my hand, got a pen and a paper and wrote. That's physical
Yes.
to me, to write.
Yes. Yes.
To use your hands, not just to click, click, click. Even this is physical, but I'm saying write it down. Go,
Yes.
get a piece of paper, grab it, write it, get out of your system. And I did, and it's been good. It's been great. The little moments here and there. It's not often because life is like so busy all the time, but it's been great. I think writing to me is my
So you're an
my
artist.
exit, my
Yes. So you're an artist in every way. Writing, dancing. What experience have you had in ageism? I'm looking at a woman who looks like she's 40, but I'm not putting you down. I'm asking what ageism comes. Does it have to do with dance world, or tell me about that?
age. It's something that I'm grateful for. To get to this age, to get to be 50, it's a gift. My mother passed away. My mother died at 50. So she was unable to get older. Sometimes I think how my mother will look like today.
Yes.
My mother today will be 80 years old. How would she be? You know? And she didn't have the gift, let's say, to age, to see her grandson being born, to see me age. So I feel aging has been a gift. I am very much against when people say, oh, I am old, or you old, you cannot do that anymore, or you old, you cannot dress this anymore. My body today, I like my body so much right now because my hips are bigger, my boobs, I walk different, I'm a little heavier, and as a dancer I was always very light and skinny, but now I kind of like it that my hips are heavier. I like it a lot, you know. I like that my boobs are, my back is bigger. I'm enjoying it, and I'm very happy with aging. I think I'm great at this age. I think I'm restarting. I'm like rebooting at this
Rebooting.
age.
I like that.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
rebooting.
basically putting the middle finger up to what you hear of that age.
Exactly.
And saying no.
You know, I see, but that's one thing, Mary Jane, that I have to bring up in this interview.
Do.
Yes, we still have to fight ageism like crazy. But the younger ones, but the ones that are the same age as us, the ones that are older than us, especially when you're a woman that doesn't age with the time. Like, I look, like you said, I look like I'm 40. Some people
Yes.
think I'm 30-something years old, 37. And sometimes people in society uses that against you. Society is built to go against women. It's so weird. We give birth to all of them, and they mess up with our abortion rights. They mess up with our bodies. They want to give. I don't think anybody should. I think laws about women bodies should stop. For real.
Hello.
They shouldn't be allowed. Nothing about that. If you don't want to have a child, don't. If there was an accident, it's an accident. If you want to take it out, take it out. If you don't want to, because what is the point? We have the choice. We have the choice either through age or not age. You know what I mean? Today you can go get that some feeling, some surgery, and put up in your face and look better. You want to look better? Yes. There's so much that we go through as women in this world. Why? And it's funny thing is like as much as they promote, you go in social media, you got filters, you got all of these things to make you look younger. And actually I look younger because my genetics are amazing. I'm a ballerina, and you know, I take care of my skin, I eat well, I sleep as much as I can. I love sleeping. And I go post something on social media and somebody goes, oh, you don't look like your age. And I know that is not a compliment. You're speculating what I do. So 2 years ago, I was in an event and I see this person that I know for a long time, another Brazilian artist, musician. I go to him and I say, "Hi, do you remember me? Hi, how are you?" And he's like, "Hi, how are you?" And I said, "Do you remember me?" He goes, "Yes, I saw you a couple of years ago." It's like, "No, it's me, Bethania." And he said, "No, it's not." I said, "How come?" "It's me." And he said, "No, it's not." "Yes, it's me." He said, "But you did something." I said, "No, I didn't." And it was such an embarrassment because I had a girlfriend with me. And I looked at her and I looked at him and I was just like, "Oh, well." And he was like, "Oh, but you look beautiful. You look great. You look great." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Have a great night." And then I walked away and I was like, what an insult.
Yes.
We're the same age. What an insult. So I'm not allowed to age graciously or age amazing. It's your problem if you feel uncomfortable that I age amazing. And I have news. I'm gonna keep aging amazingly. Watch.
Your mother was a very well-known feminist and a very well-known feminist in Brazil. What is your stance on feminism?
Feminism has been a big question in my life. I always felt, in a way, as much as my mother was a feminist and worked on feminism, and was one of the people in the 70s that supported the feminist movement.
Yes.
There are two parts of feminism in Brazil and in America. That is the black feminism and the feminism.
Yes.
There is a difference to me. As a black woman, feminism has two sections.
Yes.
As a ballerina, as a black ballerina, I feel in a way that I'm a little bit even more feminist than my mom in a radical way, because we still in dance have to fight for our spaces as directors, choreographers, the people that rule the industry. I think many times the men that step up before us, there are no questions to give the men spaces and places of power in the industries, especially the industry of dance. It bothers me because when it comes to ballet, the biggest star and I don't know, we have the Baryshnikovs, we have, the Nijinskis, but we have, it's about the ballerinas too. And I feel like women in dance are not supported enough to be in places of power, but being places of beauty and being places of, of being manipulated.
Yes.
With their bodies, with their image, with even their minds sometimes. Not in like that. We don't have many outspoken ballerinas, like feminist ballerinas. Yes. I wonder where they are. I mean, Ingrid is one.
The woman that you mentor and teach.
Exactly. Ingrid is one. It's amazing. And it's funny because sometimes I feel like people don't understand. People don't get it. You need to get it.
Yeah.
But I would like to see not just ballerinas of color, ballerinas, white women who could be more outspoken in the industry of dance, could be more feminists. And I think feminism is global. It's all of us. Feminism is defending the women in the Middle East, talking to them, reaching out to the little girls. Oh my God, I worry about the little girls all over the world. So yes, my mother taught me how to be a feminist even more than she was, because I was born from her as a feminist, and I would be I'll be listening to conversations of her and her white girlfriends and black girlfriends and friends and people that she worked with. And yes, we can have our sections, the indigenous, the blacks, the Jewish, the whites, Asians, but at some moment we meet, we have we have to meet at some moment and share our experience. It's
Do you
important.
feel that I don't know if it started in America, that have you led feminist groups in your world? Have you started to create it?
Not yet.
Let's talk about retirement. I think it's very, very far from you, right? What is retirement to you? You're still dancing.
I'm still dancing here. I'm still dancing with my son. I'm still dancing when I teach my kids.
Yes.
When I teach my students, I'm dancing. Sometimes I just like to dance in front of them.
Yes.
Not to show off, but for them how to see
Yes.
an older body, like their mom's body, but it's like, oh, she still got it.
Yeah.
How can she do this pirouette? Oh my God, Miss Gomez did it. Miss Gomez did because she loves what she does. Because inside you're always going to be an artist. So yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to retire. I don't think retirement is in my book.
No,
It's
I
not.
agree.
Then the word retirement is not going to be in my book. Let's
Yes.
say my book, the book of my life, does a Bethania Nascimento Freitas Gomes life book. No retirement. I'm never going to retire. I'm gonna be dancing to the very, 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 very last day. Even it's just gonna to be a finger going, when I'm 105. So, yeah, no.
No, I love that. Just keep recording. Yeah.
The day I was watching the former Prima Ballerina of Dance Theater of Harlem, Virginia Johnson, who just stepped down from being the artistic director of the company. And she was watching Allegro Brilliant by Balanchine that she danced as a principal. And she was in the front of the studio. And the girl that was dancing, the principal, was very technical. She was dancing very well. But then I looked at Virginia and she was dancing. And all she was doing was going with the music with her hair, and her eyes was like stars, it was diamonds, and I could see her dancing again. So ballerina will always be a ballerina. It can be just the eyes and the head going, she did it. She's dancing
And
all
how
the
old
time.
is she?
I don't know how old Virginia is. She's older, but maybe she's on her 60s.
Beautiful. So, how did you manage your very active romantic and sex life and be a mother? How did you pull that off? Especially a single mother.
Like I never wanted to lie to my child about my life and who I am as a woman. I never liked to make up stories. That was a oath, let's say, that I did to myself when I was pregnant. And I promised myself, I promised the universe that I would never lie. I grew up in a very diverse family. My parents, they separated when I was 3. And my mother was a feminist, was a very free-spirited woman. She had boyfriends, she had engagement, she had then a partner for a long time who was my stepdad. I consider my stepdad. He's diversity. He's Jewish and a jazz musician, and I love him to death. And I don't think that without him in my life, I had learned and see a man love a woman so unconditionally and be so light about her child, who was me. With my stepdad, I always had a very light relationship. So I think with that, I learned when I became a single mother to navigate in a very light way with my son about my boyfriends and my boyfriends. Not lovers, I wouldn't bring lovers around my son. There is always a limit for everything, for like how much information you gotta give to a child.
Sure.
But so that's the same thing I did with my son. I always have been very open. Some moments are not easy. Some moments you you judge, you misjudged. I'm not gonna say every time has been the right time, every time has been the right way. Sometimes there were moments that were tough, but I believe we always learn, and as long as there is a clear conversation in a relationship, it can be your child, it can be your husband, it can be your boyfriend, it can be your daughter. I think things will get easier and less traumatizing. So I'm being very open with my son about my relationships, when I'm in love, when I'm not, when I don't want it anymore. And he's like, you hate this guy now, what the heck is wrong with you? I was like, that's how life goes, but just learn, don't judge.
You're honest and flowing.
I'm honest and flowing with him. And it's like, I always had an open conversation with my parents, my mother and my father. My father's also, like, we always had very open conversations about sexuality, about choices, about what I don't like and what I like, And
that's healthy, man.
Very healthy.
Your son is lucky.
Yes, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky to come from these two individuals that were very open about sexuality to me. It doesn't mean I lost my virginity at the age of 14. I lost my virginity in America practically. I was already like 19 years old when I really started having like a sexual life, But that was an open conversation my mother had with me, like, you may get pregnant, and what you going to do? You gonna stop your ballet? I was like, hell no. So ballet was my boyfriend for a long time.
So has the experience of being a Black woman in America changed in the last couple of years? There's been so much talk of change. Do you feel it?
I feel it, but also I feel a great pressure and too many extra conversations.
Do you mean you're educating people too much?
No, I am actually not. I am educating people. I don't think it's ever too much to educate.
Yeah.
Sometimes I stop class and I have a whole conversation with my students, because they're mostly Blacks and Latinos, mostly. And when it comes for the last couple of years, it's very interesting to me, because I've been this couple of years my whole life, because I'm a daughter of a civil rights activist. I grew up in the Black movement in Brazil. The Black movement is like, she didn't grow up here, I did. Because every time you were talking and every time you were coming to my house, I could hear as a child. A child is a sponge. So today, when this whole thing, Black Lives Matter, exploded, that's exactly when I moved to the US, actually like around 2015. And it's been very interesting. Sometimes most of the time I'm grateful that this is coming. We need to expose, we need to fight. To fight, we need to put out there. It's almost the same thing I was talking about earlier, honesty. We need honesty to fight the wrong things, right? Things has to be clear to go, that's not right. We got to stop that.
So do you sense a change here in America?
I sense a change. I sense that some people, and I'm going to say white people, has been more awakened. And then it's interesting, because people talk about, when it talks about racism, it talks about black people. Racism is race. But my question is, who is the race or the races that really need to be aware that this is not right? So when I went marching, there were white people next to me, and some people were like, oh, what is that? I was like, no, they're the ones who need to be with us. We need to all talk about it. It can't be a conversation. If we keep in our little circle, it's never gonna get out. And the change, we wanna change. We Black people, we wanna change. But to change, we have to talk to the other one across the field, and be like, hey, what you're doing to me is not right. And the other person, instead of the people on the other side of the field, must be oh, okay, let me check on this. Yes, this is not right. Let's come to this other side and talk to them and be like, yes, I am sorry. My ancestors messed up. Let's fix this together. Because we've been victims for 500, 600 years.
Yes.
But I want us to get out of the victim space. We can no longer be the victims. We have to talk about the ones that make us victims. The colonizers, the descendants of the colonizers especially. Because I think the world is still run by the descendants of the colonizers. They are the ones who mess up their abortion rights, with messing up with the gun violence, with the who are those people? Have we asked ourselves who are the people who are signing the last decisions? And we have to see. Sometimes people say white people. I say it, white people colonized, but there are the colonizers and the non-colonizers.
Yes.
So that's the thing. That's what we have to keep going for. And I say action, 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 not just conversations.
What do you think has been your biggest challenge in life?
Loving myself. Without sabotaging myself. Loving myself truly, deeply, taking care of myself the way I believe I deserve, not in a dream, but in reality. It's not easy. For some reason, that's the search. I love God. I love my gods and my goddess. I'm a Candomblé person. I am a daughter of Oya, the goddess of the thunderstorms and the winds. I'm the daughter of Oshun, the Orisha, the goddess of the rivers. I'm proud of being part of it, and I enjoy so much being part of Candomblé, the Afro-Brazilian religion, that's Yoruba roots, on Yoruba roots. But still, I really wanna be one day happy and loving myself unconditionally. And I don't know if I'm gonna get there this lifetime, but this search has been the search.
So, you've had a terrible loss in your life, but there's loss for all of us. If it's friendships, if it's careers, how have you dealt with your loss?
With God. Conversations with God, asking God and asking the universe why, and being blessed to have the answer right away. I guess I'm blessed with a divine force. I've heard from some people, older people, an acting coach who once told me that I was an extreme force. I was 27 years old. I did not understand what she was talking about. But I think the force is to be in that moment of loss, the biggest one my mother's, the second bigger one my father's, and be like in that moment of why, and stop to listen to the answer. And the answer actually came. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but the journey. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like fear. I hate fear. I hate feeling fear. It messes me up. But I think the fact that I lost my mother in such a young age to an assassination, to gun violence, I faced the biggest fear in my life. And then I lost my father for cancer. And that was it was so unexpected. I didn't have time to have fear. I did have fear of losing him, but it was already going. because it was pancreatic cancer. So that cancer is like, so yeah, asking God and being in a place of surrender, such surrender that I get the answer. I'm not going to say there are many battles to get through the answer. You get the answer, but there was many battles to grow, to not be in a place of anger, to not be in a place of self-destruction, in a way, because that's what I go to sometimes. So yes, that's pretty much how I survived, and I'm still surviving, and making that moment of pain, transforming the pain into light, and transforming that moment of answer into light, because when God answered me, he gave me light.
Well, I want to ask you something. You're from Brazil, and so God could be goddesses. God could be many source of spirit, right?
Yes, but when I talk about God, I like to talk about the universe and a bigger force that is a goddess and a god at the same time. I don't think God has, it's a man. Neither a woman. God is God. God is a force. God is the sun. God is the light that blesses us every day. It's the air that we breathe. It's a breeze. That's God. You know, the river is a God. Water is God. Fire is God. That's why I love Candomblé so much. That's why I love being the Afro-Brazilian religion, because there are many gods and God and Oxalá to this Friday. Oxalá, no, it's like, but I like to talk to God. But when I talk to God, I don't feel masculine or a feminine force. I feel what it is.
When I read about your mother, there was a lot of talk of her battling invisibility of
Yes.
Black women and Black older feminists. There's a lot of talk now of invisibility and middle age that I get impatient with. How do you feel about that?
I'm revolted. I can't believe people or systems would like to shut down my mother. You know, she was an amazing force, and she still is. And I think, you know, that was no way to stop her. Even when they tried, and they did stop the physical aspect of Beatriz Nascimento. But even when they shut her, let's say, her body, it was like a meteor. It exploded into light, and I feel like I'm part of that light. And it is very unfortunate that people and systems try to shut down my mother and make her invisible. My goal and my legacy is to make her as visible as Malcolm X, as Martin Luther King, all those men out there that everybody praises. I want her to be praised just as much, especially because she was a woman, because she was innovative, because she was a great mother and unconventional. Very unconventional. She was very much criticized for being unconventional as a mother, but that's something that is between me and her. Yes. Nobody can get in between. If I am if as the daughter of this woman, I say it was okay, it's okay. My prayers are with her. My conversations is still with her. Whatever I have to forgive with my mother, my father, it's my situation to solve. Not society, not a relative, not an aunt, an uncle, not even my grandmother will solve the situation. So I think, I hope women like my mother, like me, won't be pressed by invisibility.
I like
We
that.
need to be seen. We need to be heard. If we don't want to be seen, don't want to be heard, fine. But if we want to, if we crave that, let us be.
So, how has sex and relationships changed as you've gotten older? Have they changed?
Yes, they change. And the change comes from me, I think. I changed. And my view, my point of view of what sex and relationships are changed. I embrace myself and on the things that I choose in life. Again, I'm gonna talk about guilt and self-worth. You know, I don't think a woman should be, how you say the name again? Not recognized, but defined. I'll go again so you can edit.
Okay.
I don't think a woman should be defined by marriage or even relationships. You define by who you are. The more you embrace yourself and you become who you are, the better. And for me, aging is about becoming who I truly am. So yeah, relationships changed, relationships ended, relationships started and ended, the relationships is still happening, and because of my search of who I am. And yeah, maybe you can interpret that as being selfish, but I think I'm not going to regret this. I would regret if I haven't tried to see and to become who I'm truly am. You know, I like earlier I said about self-love, the search. So you have to search for who you are. I don't like to be out of myself to be with someone. I don't think that's ideal. And you know, I have sisters who are not married. I have sisters who are in unions. I have sisters who are in a very traditional kind of marriage. And one of them, she said, oh yeah, but there are things that you have to give up to be with the person. I disagree. That's her point of view. I hope she's happy. My point of view, that wouldn't make me happy.
Yes.
So I am not in a marriage that's gonna make me unhappy, and I'll sacrifice myself to be with that person. Because once you don't find your self-love, how come you can love that person? And how come you can just generate love? Do you understand? I think it's about love to me, life, the search, not marriage and a relationship, just to be.
So, do you think one person can fulfill all of your sexual needs? Or do you believe in an open relationship?
I believe in whatever works for you. I never been in an open relationship. I've been in an open relationship with myself. I've been in an open relationship with people. There was one Valentine's Day that I got 5 gifts. I'm not gonna say anything else about that. But there were moments that I was with 2 partners, that had 2 boyfriends. Not that was an open relationship, because jealousy has been hunting me, like jealousy has hurt me a lot. Not my jealousy, but the jealousy of others, of the men that I've been with. So I have been in a single relationship, like me and the other person. I think if it wasn't for other factors in a relationship, I could have been really, really happy sexually with some of the partners I've been with, because the sexual part was great and I could have been fulfilled. Yes, when you do everything. In Brazil we say, when you do the beer, the head, when you do the beer, the beard, the hair, and the mustache. Like when you go to the barber and you do the whole thing, the full set. You know what I mean? I've been in relationships that was like the full set. The sex was amazing, but the problem was the partner's personality and narcissism, you know. And but I think so. I think you can be super fulfilled with someone that is open to join that ride with you.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be necessarily you do this and you do that. Let's be in an open relationship. I think if you have a partner that rides with you, it's great. Go for it.
So if you could be 27 again, what would you do over?
Honestly, I think I had danced more. like not it was enough. But I wish I had like do some extra stuff in my dance career.
Oh.
Pretty much. I wish I had done some extra stuff in my dance career at that age.
You mean extra classes? Is that what you mean?
No, just extra dance and performances and traveling on my own. Like do more of individual work as a dancer. You know,
were always with groups.
I was always in the dance companies and you know, with groups, yeah. So I would rather like, I should have tried some more independent work.
Okay. If you could be 27 again, what might you do over?
I would do over my dance career. Like I would dedicate myself more to the dance career. People are like, what? You were a principal dancer at 27, but that's what I would do. I would dance independently more. Like I will make my name strongest independently. I feel like that was something that I didn't do full out as much as I should have done. It's just a feeling.
Yes.
You know, so it's just a feeling, or, you know, search more into knowing my body, search more into knowing my dance, and not let myself being directed so much by others.
Yeah.
Kind of like going to directing myself as a ballerina, as a dancer, as an artist. You know, create my own pieces. That's what I would like to do. In relationship wise, I wish I hadn't got involved with this person. I wish I had let him go earlier when it was time. But again, you know, at that age, you have the pressure of society. You have many fears of loneliness. I don't know. That I would have done. I wouldn't have got into some relationships, or I had ended relationships earlier than I did.
So what would your advice be?
My advice would be, when it's time to move on, move on. If you feel uncomfortable, get out. In that moment you feel uncomfortable, don't be afraid. Don't be in relationships with people and with yourself based on fear, and with your professions based on fear. I am absolutely against that, because I've been there. At that age, I've been based my situation on fear, and that was the mistake I did. I will go back and I will redo. I would be like, no, this is not happening, I'm out.
Brilliant. So, do you give a fuck about what people think of you? Or has that changed in some way as you've aged?
It changed so much. Started with therapy. I restarted therapy in 2010, and honestly, I learned in therapy not to give a fuck. Today, I do not give a fuck. I do not give a fuck what people think. I do not give a fuck what people smell. Whatever. My life is my life. My choice is my choice. And I'm so much happier of not giving a fuck.
Ooh, what age did that happen, do you think? Do you think it's a question of age or something else?
I think it's a question of, an answer of awakening.
Yes.
It did come through.
That's all right. I'm still running.
It's a fact of not giving a fuck completely to everything that people think about you.
Yes.
Because it's like the world is still trying to the system is still trying to label us and decide for us. And that's a huge fact of giving a fuck about what other people think. When you give a fuck about other people think, you give them power to decide for you who you are. So no,